Hi everybody, welcome to Wednesday Night Live. Tonight we're going to talk about intuitive Ingrid. I am in my new office tonight, so if anybody is on live, please jump on and say hi. Let me know who's there, just so I can know that you're there. Um, so I'm in my new office, which is my old room, but newly painted, newly carpeted, and the green hexagonal shapes on the back there that you can see are going to end up being little shelves, and I was just placing them out today to see where they would go. So next week you'll see the finished product completely. Before we get into intuitive Ingrid, I actually just want to talk about my renos and the emotional roller coaster that I went on during the renovations, because it's really important for you guys to understand that I am bringing in these principles of the change journey all the time in my life. It's not just something that I wrote about once and kind of moved on. It's stuff that comes in all the time in my life. So I'll try and keep the story as brief as I can, but the painters were amazing. They finished the job early, and I rang the carpet people to see if I could bring the date forward, and they told me that they couldn't bring the date forward because they had given our carpet to somebody else and they had no stock. So to say I was angry was an understatement. And this was a Thursday night, and then it didn't actually get resolved until the Monday. So I spent Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday in total anger. So angry that I couldn't talk to people, so angry that I couldn't respond to people's texts. My mother-in-law said to me on the Saturday, I texted you yesterday, and I said, I know, I was so angry I couldn't even be nice to anybody. And why that anger comes in, and this is the part about your self-awareness, is that for me, my values, which we talked about in Truthful Tina, one of my big values is customer service. So the fact that I actually rang the carpet people and then they told me that there was no carpet, bad customer service. Like, they should have been on the front foot and explaining to us. And I was like, well, what would have happened if we waited to the day, and would you just not have turned up, or, all this stuff. So because they hinder my value of customer service, I have this massive reaction. So whilst I'm having this massive reaction, there's no self-awareness. I'm just totally in it. So really all Friday, all Saturday, majorly angry, and the Thursday night. By Sunday morning, it was starting to wane a little bit, and some of my self-awareness could come in. And at that point, I went for a walk, and I just thought, and walking for me is my little meditation kind of clearing my head. It's my spiritual practice. I walk near the water and I gain as much energy from nature as possible. And I did that on the Sunday morning, and I thought to myself, that salesman at the carpet shop, he's having a great weekend. He's not angry. And you have consumed your whole weekend and the relationships that you've had with people over this weekend with anger because you couldn't move on. And it's fine that I couldn't move on, but it was also great that I could, at that point on the Sunday morning, reflect back and think, actually, I'm going to start letting this go, because it's not serving any purpose. It's not getting me a result. It's just sitting there making me feel really bad. I also realised through that self-awareness piece on the Sunday that anger is so draining. Like, I had no energy. I didn't eat properly. Like, I was so aware on the Sunday when I looked back about the last few days of how all-consuming the anger had been and how draining it is for you. So it was one of the reasons why I just decided to let it all go. And by Monday, I was really in a place of whatever happens, happens. I was literally open to the universe to go, you know what, maybe this happened for a reason. Whatever, I'm just open to it. I don't care what happens now. Let's just resolve it and move on. It did get resolved, and it only got resolved because my husband went and stood in the carpet shop and said he wasn't leaving until they sorted their stuff out. and we ended up getting a higher quality carpet than what we would have got originally for the same price. So there was a win in the situation, and maybe that was the reason it happened. I don't know. But it was just really interesting, so that my emotional journey through that, and it was also why I couldn't do a live last week, because we were getting ready for the carpet people, and whilst my anger had dissipated a lot, just having them come on that next Thursday, it was just, yeah, didn't have the energy to give to anybody else that time, because I was really looking after myself. So I just wanted to share that with you, so that you could see that I brought in my truthful Tina, really knew my values. I brought in my resilient Ramona. I really stayed in my anger. I let it absorb me so that it served a purpose for me. And then I got to the point where 2 days later I was like, I'm done, and I needed to move on. So yeah, I just wanted to share and say that I'm still living a change journey just as much as you guys are, but I have the tools and the self-awareness that help me recover a lot faster. So I hope that helps you if you have situations similar. So let's get on to Intuitive Ingrid. Oh, I forgot to get her card out. So Intuitive Ingrid is the yellow card, and she has a frangipani as her flower, and the frangipani means enhancing your intuition. I also love Intuitive Ingrid. She's one of my favorite characters. I just love the drawing of her, so she's really beautiful. So when I started my spiritual journey, for want of a better word, I remember going to a clairvoyant all the time, and she used to say to me, actually every time I went to clairvoyance, even if I went to tarot card readers at the fair or something like that, they used to say to me, oh, you're very intuitive. And I'd think, oh, I have this special gift. Like, I'm intuitive, and they can see that I have this special gift. And I used to think that it was like a bit like clairvoyance, I guess, or future readings, or whatever they do, like whatever the clairvoyant people do, whether it's tarot card or palmistry or whatever it is, I kind of felt like intuition was what they do. And I was like, oh, I'm something special. What I've learned on my journey is that intuition isn't really special. We all have it. The problem is most of us don't tap into it, and it switches off. So intuition is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the more you use it, and the more it works out for the good, I want to say, or the better, or that you can see that it worked, the more trust you have in it, which is what we were talking about last time with trusting Tracy, then the more you're going to use it. So it's this snowball effect that the more you use it, the more it grows. The more you use it and you get proof of the results, then the more confident you're going to be in it, and the more trusting you are, and then the more your intuition kicks in, and the more you trust it, and then the more you can do it, and you get the picture. You just roll on and on and on and on and on. But we all have it. It is this absolute innate ability within us that we all have an intuition. And intuition is kind of the bridge between the conscious and the subconscious. And it's really hard to describe, but it's just like this little knowing inside you that whatever it is that you're feeling or thinking or trying to decide is right. So last time we talked about trusting Tracy, we talked about trusting your gut. And I guess that's what Intuitive Ingrid is. If you needed to give it a label, it's tuning into your gut, but it's more your instinct. So it's your intuition, it's your instinct and your intuition, and tuning into that and doing what feels right. So I use my intuition all the time now. Like, it's not something that I pull out of the closet and go, oh, today I'm going to use my intuition. It is so woven into my life that I use it all the time. From picking which clothes I wear, which I talk about in the book. Like, if I'm in the shower, I will actually tune in and have a visual picture of what I look like that day. And then I get out of the shower and I put those clothes on. And I go, perfect. And it feels good, and I know it's right, and I feel confident if I'm going out or whatever. If I get out of the shower and I think, I'm just going to put something else on, it never feels right. And it's not until I put on what I envisaged in the shower that I know it's right and it feels good. So, you know, sometimes like we say all the time, we're going to go and have a wardrobe crisis and we spend 15-20 minutes putting on and off all these clothes. If you actually just stopped before that and tuned into your intuition and said, what is the best thing for me to wear today? And a picture comes to your mind of an outfit and you put that on, that would save you all that time of that 15-20 minutes of having a wardrobe crisis. It's the same if I go and park my car. I will visualize where I'm going to park my car. And inevitably, that's where I will find a great spot, and it's close or it's out of the rain or whatever it is. And even if it's not important, like if I'm just going to the supermarket, we have 2 levels in our supermarket, and I'll be like, where should I park today? Top or bottom? So just as I'm leaving the house, I'll go, is it top or bottom? Top, top. And whatever stays in my mind the most, that's where I'll go. So as I'm driving there, if I keep visualizing the top, then I park at the top. If I keep visualizing the bottom, then I park at the bottom. And I'm just using and trusting this intuition process of telling me and guiding me where to go, which is going to be the best solution for me. You know, even if I'm taking the dog for a walk, you have to take poo bags, obviously, and I normally take 3. And sometimes as I'm reaching into the cupboard, I'll just get this little voice inside of me that goes, take 4 today. I go, seriously? Why would I take 4? I always take 3. And when I take 4, I need 4. You know, and it's just these tiny little things that you can start doing in your life to bring in this extra little sense of intuition. And when I'll try and describe what it feels like. So when I was buying my new furniture for my office, I was standing at Fantastic Furniture and I had all these desks that I was looking at and I was sitting at them. And I really, really liked this one desk and I sat at it and it felt good. But it didn't feel perfect. And so I was like, oh, well, that's interesting because this is the one I saw online. I'd already sat in it once in one shop. I'd gone to another shop and sat in it again. And that's when I went, it doesn't actually feel 100% perfect. So then I went and sat in another desk and I went, oh, this is the perfect desk. And the reason that was the perfect desk is because it matched the other stuff that I was going to buy. So when I'm in that zone, it's a feeling. So I guess it's like, it feels like coming home. It feels like a warm feeling. It feels like a big hug. If somebody was going to give you a hug so you feel a bit safer, that's how I guess I can just describe what your intuition is. It's very much around this nice, warm-ish feeling that you get that you know this is the right thing or the right decision. It's just a knowing. It's just this knowing that this is right. So the desk, whilst it was right a few times, when I actually got to the point to buy the desk, it didn't feel right. No different to what I'm putting on my walls. I had all these amazing little ceramic things from Etsy in the shopping cart ready to purchase. And I also wait 24 hours because I'm a bit of an impulsive person, so I just really make sure that my decisions are right. When I went back to it the next day, they didn't feel right anymore. So they felt good at the beginning, but something didn't let me hit that buy button, even though they're in my shopping cart. And one of the reasons was when I actually did a bit more research the next day, they were shipping from somewhere overseas and it was going to cost an extra $150 to send these things to Australia. So in the end, I decided to just go some Bunnings hexagons and it feels really nice. And then interestingly, I went to Bunnings today to buy my hexagons and I needed 6 and there was only 6. And I really felt like I needed to go today because I was going to go on Friday for my day off, but I used my intuition when my intuition was saying, you've got time today, go to Bunnings today. I got there today and there was only 6. So that's when, for me, I'm like, oh, thank you, intuition. And that's a big part of building your intuition muscle, is that when those little things happen, When I take 4 dog bags and the dog does 4 poos, I go, thank you, thank you. When I drive a certain way and it's a little bit quicker, or I do something and I see something that I really wanted to see, I give gratitude and I give thanks that I followed my intuition and I experienced that little thing today. So for me today, it was like, thank you that you sent me to Bunnings so that I could get my cubes, because there was only 6, and I'm really glad I followed my intuition and did it today, because what if I went on Friday on my day off and somebody had bought some and they weren't there? That is how simple your intuition is. So I encourage you to start to use your intuition muscle. If you're somebody who has never ever used your intuition, give it a try. Just start playing with it. It is so safe and it is so easy to do. And then the more and more you see, oh, that was right, when I followed it, little synchronicities happen along the way, then you'll start following your intuition more. So I hope that helps. I love it. I love playing with my intuition. I love the buzz it gives me when things are right, and when I get things like like today when there was only 6, and I giggled to myself and I went, of course there's only 6. Thank you, thank you, thank you, intuition. And I just smiled to myself, and I love it, and I do it all the time. So it's this really light, happy feeling that you can get. I also do intuition with my to-do lists. So if I've got a task that I want to do, I will tune in and go, is it the right time to do this task? And inevitably, when it feels right, it is the right time to do it. And you will find that you will have more opportunities or more things come your way when you do that task at that right time. Also, when I'm speaking to you guys, I do this intuitively. So I know the material, but I don't sit here and read a script, and I don't, I really just pick, like I go, okay, this is the character I'm going to talk about. These are my main points I want to say. But then I just flow, and I just trust that intuitively what's coming out my mouth is what you guys need to hear. And sometimes when I listen to it back, I think, oh, you just rambled on that topic for so long. But maybe my rambling at some point, just there was one little point that somebody needed to hear, and that really helped them on their journey. So everything I do intuitively. It is so inbuilt in me, and that's what I really encourage you to do, is to bring more of intuitive Ingrid into your life if you are not using your intuition, and just see how much easier things flow and how much lighter it is to live your life with intuitive Ingrid, because it's fun and you can have these little giggles to yourself when things work out beautifully, and I know you'll love it. So please try that this week. Next week we're going to go into Spiritual Sally, and we're just going to go into a little bit deeper around what spirituality is, and I'll share my experiences around that. And we're all building, so we're actually in the self-belief stage of the book, and we did trust last week, and we're doing intuition this week and spirituality next week, and they're all part of the self-belief. So I hope that helped. I hope that makes sense. I look forward to seeing you all again next week, when my back wall will be finished and you'll get to see my little hexagonal shelves. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you later. Bye.